Happy wonderful Wednesday, everybody. I know it's a little bit late, but I'm here because I just want to go over something that I found pretty interesting when I was discussing this whole be authentic, be you. I had somebody ask me an interesting question. They said, how do you know what you are? How do you know if you're authentic? And what if you're confused? Well, if you're confused, you're authentically confused, right? So I just want to say it simply like this. There's a part of you that only you know is in there. Sometimes we hide behind the roles that we're kind of forced to take on by life. And I do mean forced because, when you have a child, you don't necessarily understand before having that child all that role is going to entail. When you take a job, sometimes you don't understand exactly what that job is until you get to work. When you take on a new vehicle or a new piece of equipment or a new phone, you don't know what all is involved in understanding that or operating that or becoming a part of that. And so it's not until later, it's not until after you're like, oh my gosh, that took a lot out of me, or that was this. So being authentic is really understanding that once you have a chance to just be you by yourself, sometimes those moments are going to be far and few in between, but it's so very important to know who you are, know what you're about, know what you stand for. And I know a lot of times we're brought up in a family or a relationship, and we tend to take on what they do, right? We take on the team they love. We take on the way they cook their food. We take on the way that we call it tradition or family value. And that's okay. But in there, you still have to understand who you are, because life and processing of people is not like a cookie cutter. As much as we want to make sure that we instill all the right things into our children, you need to be really careful about influencing the people you're with, the people you raise, the people you're around. It's important to understand that we need to be individuals as well. Judgment is among us, like in a very bad way. And so it's one of those things where I've even spoke with people who were literally an outcast to their family because they didn't take on a certain tradition, or because they didn't do things a certain way. And what happens is they lose their self in that process because they feel the abandonment. They feel as if they're not who they should be. So they get into uncomfortability with themselves. They start to wonder who they are. So when I say be authentic, I truly believe that when we're born with our own DNA, it's not just so we can have an individual thumbprint or fingerprint. It's because we all have a certain place, a certain thing that we're supposed to do. And so I think some of our frustrations in life, especially as we get older, because we'll start to reevaluate our value system and reevaluate what we put as a priority, and reevaluate what's truly important, there's that little bit of confusion. Because we've been these roles, this parent, this worker, this provider, this all these things, to where we really forgot to, remember how to dance to our own music, And I think what's important is that you do have to fall in love with yourself. You do have to fall in love with all that you are and all that you are made of. Because what's important is that there's something inside of you that's in nobody else. And some of you go, you know what? We're born to get up, go to work, come home, be happy. We have a paycheck, and that's fine. If that's your life, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is there's more than that hamster wheel. There's more for you. There's more about you. And a lot of times what happens is once we get used to this mundane way of living, this constant hamster wheel, this uneventful cycle, we tend to close in. And then at that point, the recliner becomes home base. The TV becomes the source of social life. And then it gets sad. And then it gets bitter. And then you get disconnected. And then you stop evolving as a person. And there's more to it. You guys, there's more to life than that. And then you're mad because somebody's laughing too loud in the other room. You're just mad. You're just angry. And there's more to life than that. And if you've caught yourself in that position, maybe because you've done it for so long and you put work first for so long, or maybe you were in a marriage for so long and then that's over. And so now you don't know who you are. You're going to have to remember that you're going to have to step back out there. Unless you just want life to go flat, like you're going to have to go and find yourself. it's really important that you know that there's something beautiful in you. There really is. Like, there's nothing more, I don't know, I guess touching than watching somebody who's in their element. Watching somebody do what they really were born to do. When they finally just said, you know what, I'm going to figure out who I am. And I'm watching them dance in their soul. Watching them be who they really are is beautiful. And not everybody has to be this big old thing, quote unquote. I mean, you may be good at making aprons. You may be good at baking cakes. You may be good at landscape. You may be good at whatever it is, but maybe for whatever reason, you can't do what you want to do. So then you feel trapped. And we won't get into that because that's a whole nother recording. But I just want you to know that whoever you are, dance in that person. Live in the soul of that person. You're gonna be happier for it. Like, a lot of your bitterness comes from the fact you're still not allowing yourself to live the life that's inside of you. It's like you're stuck. You're stuck. And you can't live that way. You can't. Learn to believe in it. Trust it. Go dance. Today I was walking around the city. Well, not walking around the city, but I was walking to the grocery store because I figured, I can do getting something done and incorporate my daily exercise, because we did talk about daily tasks. And I had my headphones on, and I know that I had to look like a bundle of sunshine with headphones because I was singing. I was, I probably looked a little bit crazy, but I was okay with that. I felt great. I was being true to my soul. I was being true to what felt good to me and what was good for me. And that's the other thing is, you guys, you have to remember that when I talk about feel good, and I'm not talking about temporary feel goods. I'm not talking about going out with your girls on a Friday night, having a good time, getting a little tipsy, talking about everything, and then you're excited. You're excited Saturday night. You're excited Sunday because you're resting, watching football. By Monday, you're mad that you went out, that you spent money, that time is over. Like, don't find the temporary fixes, because that's what they are. They're temporary fixes. I'm not saying don't have a good time. What I'm saying is, when you're going to find yourself and be one with yourself, don't look for the temporary things to keep you going. That's just social maintenance, to go out with your friends from time to time and laugh and have fun and do whatever. But you have to find the very things that make you happy all the time. And they're not something you're going to find anywhere other than in yourself. Know that. You guys, you study your job, you study for your driver's test, you study all these things. You go and get insurance on your car. You get insurance on your cell phone. You go get all these things for the things around you and surrounding you. But when do you invest in you? When do you study about you? When do you take apart the things that make you you? You've got to invest in yourself. And it's like, it's so wrong and so unheard of for people to be, in selfish moments with themselves. And it's to the contrary. It needs to be promoted, because I don't want an upset doctor working on me. I don't want the guy to be like, yeah, I went to med school because mom and dad told me to, and I hate it. You know what? She ain't gonna survive. Just let her go. No, I want that doctor that said, I did this because I wanted to do this, because this is my passion. Working on people is my passion. I want to be here because that doctor is not going to give up on me. I don't want to be with that individual that says, you know what? You made me mad today. So today I'm not gonna be your friend today. I'm not gonna be a part of you today. I'm not gonna be anything with you. No, I want the person that says, you know what? I love her enough to know that I'm gonna give her that moment. I'm gonna give her that time. I want the type of people who are where they should be to be in my corner. Not people who don't want to be where they are, but they feel forced by life. And if you're that person who's in a position because you were forced to, or you were force fed the situation, or you just don't want to be there, but you felt the money was good, or you felt whatever was good, I'm not faulting you for finding a good avenue. But what I am saying is that track is going to run short. Because whether it's something that makes you realize that there's something bigger out there for you, or whether something makes you hit reality that that's not where you're supposed to be, it's going to come. The race is going to come to an end. So you need to make sure that you are content with what you're doing in life. Because if not, you're wearing yourself out. Love yourself. About everything that I will ever say is, the best parts are going to come from yourself when it comes to yourself. So I will, and I'm worth it. It should be something that you remember and live by daily. God bless.